All right, bang, bang. Today is Tuesday. It is May 22nd. It is May 23rd. Welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports.
There you go.
It's myself, Eddie. It's Chief. Chief, how are we doing today?
I'm not going to lie. I'm dragging ass. These NHL playoffs are catching up to me. You know, we're recording this on a Friday. You're currently in the dozen tournament right now.
Yeah, I'm in the dozen tournament, ready to fucking get to the Final Four.
We're relegated, so we're chilling. But these overtimes are starting to take their toll on my old body here. Multiple overtimes is a young man's game.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I'm hurting a little bit, but I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I bet it. I didn't stay up. I stopped it after the first overtime, but 4 overtime game is a grind.
Yeah, dude.
It's a grueling grind.
And it's like I was gambling on it responsibly, which is otherwise I don't think I would have stayed up.
Yeah.
But it was like, I would say, an important bet for me.
Yeah.
And didn't go my way. I had Carolina. But it's like another one of those moments where I'm like, man, I cannot wait to have a team involved in a game like this again.
Yeah, for sure.
There's nothing better or worse than when your team is in playoff overtime.
Mm-hmm. We have Bedard, so we'll be there soon.
Yeah. Getting little rumors coming too for the Hawks.
Really?
Like some things that Harry, I'll tell you afterwards. If it happens, I'll tell you afterwards too. But the name, he's a young guy. He won't mean anything to you yet.
Oh, okay.
But everyone will know his name in like 3 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
If it happens.
Oh, I thought you were getting rumors that we're going to go Mitchkov instead.
Oh no! No.
Hey, I'm excited for today's episode though. Tuesdays have become a crapshoot of a history topic, a tinfoil conspiracy topic. What did they do? Topic. Today we're just gonna talk some whales, which I love that, dude.
Yeah.
I was all morning I was watching bear videos. Yeah, I just like watching animals exist.
You just got locked into that, and that's like. The TikTok algorithm will it constantly updates itself. If you get yourself in a nature algorithm spiral, there's no getting out of that.
That's why I can't do TikTok.
You're sucked into the vortex, and you're like watching mongooses, and then you're watching a wolf pack hunt, and then you're watching grizzly,
that's why I don't do
grizzly
TikTok.
bears.
I can't do it.
But it's at the same time. It's awesome. I actually got an orca one, and that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about orcas. I got one yesterday morning, the same morning that Billy blogged his, which was kind of like the inspiration for this episode. Yeah. Because there was the first ever, I think that's what Billy said in his blog, instance of whales attacking wild orcas attacking humans. It went after a fishing boat. It was a fucking wild video. And the one that I saw, which maybe we can include in this or I'll put it in the blog, it was a video of these 2 baby orcas going up to this yacht, and they wouldn't leave the yacht alone. They're doing their orca sounds, being they were in distress. So they call the local wildlife whatever rescue team. They follow these the orcas lead them out to this specific place. They find their mother was entangled, had her tail fin wrapped in this type of fishing line, this big rope, couldn't get free. So they were somehow these orcas knew to be hey, go get humans, bring them back here, fucking Lassie, tell them to cut me out, and they got free. It was a crazy.
That's crazy.
And we'll get into why that is even plausible in this episode. They are, to me, I'm surprised we haven't done this yet. I think they're the most amazing animal on the planet. The most amazing.
Wow. I'm here to be sold.
Okay.
I'm here to be sold too. And here's something I want to tell you about that is for sale, and you should check out because it's RHOBACK Activewear. We love RHOBACK. Best fit, best feel, best quality, best comfort, best material. Everything is top notch. I'm holding the 312 polo that I absolutely love. It's golf season. If you don't have this on the course, you're crazy.
You're a certified idiot.
It's such an awesome polo.
Wilco's took one.
Yeah.
So Wilco's was in the office for the mid show last week. You should check that out. It's in the Dante episode.
Yeah.
And he was like, "This is awesome," and he took that with him. And then, we became best friends. Eddie got his number, and we're all going to go play golf together this summer. And maybe we'll all wear that, like as Ryder Cup. We'll all wear the RHOBACK Chicago shirt.
That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
You could also get their performance joggers, most comfortable joggers on the planet. You're not going to want to miss out. Functional, versatile, comfortable. They check off every box. And the performance hoodie, which Chief was just holding, so soft. So soft. And paired with performance joggers, it's impossible to get a better combo.
Yep.
So we love RHOBACK. It's genuinely great stuff. You guys got to check it out because golf season's perfect for it. And even whatever. It really is versatile is the best word for it because you could kind of wear it wherever.
Yep. And Father's Day is coming up too. Like this is big time dad season.
Huge.
Like, don't let your dad be the dad who's wearing the same golf shirt since 2007. Get him that one. That used to be my dad.
Yes.
Now he's outfitted.
Yeah, exactly. That's perfect. So get ready for summer with RHOBACK. Use code DOG on RHOBACK.com for 20% off your first purchase. That's RHOBACK.com. That's 20% off all performance hoodies, joggers, and polos with code DOG. All right. I'm ready for some orcas.
All right. So how they're like called killer whales, right? We'll just start from like their actual name.
I do know that they're called killer whales.
I think this is a fact I got from Steve Ranella. I feel like maybe we brought him up on a show recently too.
We have.
Okay. I can't remember what that context was though.
We talked about the chimpanzees maybe?
Maybe.
No? It was on the mid show.
Okay. Anyways, so it's basically like we over time like fucked up the translation. So it used to be, it was like an old Greek word, because that's like another thing about orcas, killer whales. They're literally everywhere. Both Arctic circles, the entire fucking ocean. They have an insanely long range. You can find them basically in any ocean, anywhere in the world, including the Mediterranean Sea. And so like Greek fishermen named them whale killers because they would observe these orcas hunting other types of whales, and including smaller dolphins. And that's like another little fact. Orcas, killer whales aren't even whales. They are technically dolphins. They're like the biggest, most
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
That's a good fun fact.
Yeah, so they're like the biggest version of the dolphin, but they're all like the sea mammals, right? They're all like in this, I don't know what's that called, a genus, genome, something, whatever category whatever they put animals in. They're all part of that larger thing because they are all mammals. But they have a type of tooth, like dolphins and orcas have like these specific type of teeth that puts them more closely aligned. And then there's other things as well, but that's like the big one,
Gotcha.
Big differentiator. But they're like I was saying, like they are like the most amazing animal. Okay, so they have their own language.
I knew that.
You knew that?
Yeah, I did know that. Mm-hmm.
So not only do they have,
I'm a little knowledgeable about orcas.
Okay,
I'm not coming in blind like I mostly am on Tuesdays.
All right. So did you know that all the different pods have their own languages?
I knew they did pods.
Yeah.
I don't know if I knew that.
Okay. So it'd be like, they're traveling all over the ocean, right? And they're traveling in these pods. I actually don't think I saw anywhere how big an orca pod. An orca pod.
Good question.
But so they're traveling they said the Google search here says upwards of 15. So they're not that big, but they're all communicating, this pod. They're traveling all over the place, talking to each other, and those clicks and whistles and stuff like that. And they can do like 40 clicks or something. Maybe I think it's like 40 a second, like that quick. And but if like one pod ran into another pod, it'd be like a guy coming in here being like, I speak Spanish or Greek or Russian or something. We'd have no idea how to communicate. So they look exactly alike. They're the same animal. They're doing all the same shit, but because they're not together, they speak a different language.
So I didn't know that.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Okay, so that...
I knew they had their own language. I didn't know that they wouldn't be able to understand it.
Yeah, it's like it's not even like it's a different dialect or an accent. It's like the different pods like can't talk to each other. And it is like they say it is like a language. Did you happen to see that? I binged it hard because I was watching this so hard that I was streaming the Panthers Leafs elimination game last week on my computer while I was watching this Chimp Empire on Netflix on the big screen.
No, we've talked about this on the show too, and I'm realizing we talked about Steve Ranella. I think it was Wednesday's free swim with Danny, and we were talking about when I talked about the catch and release.
Oh yeah.
I think that's what you brought up, Steve.
But anyway, so like those like chimps, okay, like when we think of chimps as like the most evolved primate, closest thing to us, they don't have language the way that, or culture the way that orcas do. So orcas, they have like a distinct, like they'll be able to communicate verbally, essentially, in a way that chimps, that scientists don't know how chimps communicate. So they, in that documentary, they were like, you know, like this guy, you know, they have these patrols. They like patrol their territory, and then they organize these hunts, but they don't know how it's like, hey, you're on this patrol. You're on the. It's just kind of just like, or like how the hunt organizes. It's just kind of like, it's like they describe it as like an energy, and then it just kind of like ramps up and they go. But there's no like distinct call or anything like that. Where orcas do have like, hey, like you're the left fucking flank. You know, like we're hunting this thing. Like you go over there, we're going over here, and they like communicate in real time, and they organize themselves that way in their own language. And that is a thing where it's like it's like a culture, right? So the other thing that's different besides just the languages, types of hunting, styles of hunting, different things like that varies from pod to pod too. Other types of behaviors vary from pod to pod. And it's said that they are one of 2 species on the planet that passes down like a learned behavior in a cultural way. So whether it's a hunting thing or how they like show affection, you know, how they, different types of play, hunt, you know, language, all that kind of stuff. There's only 2 species on the planet. They're one. Who do you think's the other one?
Is it some type of bird?
It is not.
So it's in the ocean?
Not primarily, no. It's fucking humans, dude. Okay? So it's right. So of all the animals in the world, all the other ones, they do things kind of just like through genetics and instinct, right? Like you don't have to, like a deer, you take a deer out of its fucking pack or whatever it is, and you bring a white-tailed deer that was living in Iowa and you bring it to New Hampshire, okay? It's going to be bigger because it's diet. There's going to be some differences in the white-tailed deer from Iowa versus the one in New Hampshire. There's going to be some like genetic differences, but they're going to behave the same, and they're going to do the deer shit, and they're going to find a group, and they're going to act as a deer. Where if you take an orca and put it with a different pod, it doesn't know what to do. Can't talk to anybody, doesn't know the hunting schemes, doesn't know any of that, because they teach each other and pass down culture the same way you learn how to cook from your mom, they learn how to hunt from their mom. Like, and the same way you learn how to talk and communicate and have these interpersonal relationships, that is like something that you learn through observation of our culture and your family dynamic, that they do the exact same thing. And there's only 2 species, and it's them and us, which is fucking wild to think about.
That is crazy.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, so I said they have like 15, you know, upwards of 15 members in a pod. They're all a matriarchy. So the leader of the pod is always like a grandmother. And that grandmother, orcas can live up to 80, sometimes even 90 years old. So they live like the same amount of lifespan as us. And it's believed that they're one of the only species, kind of like us, that will have females go through menopause. So like no other, like basically if you're a deer, we'll go back to the deer example. And if you, like, you're always kind of fertile and able to produce until you're dead, right? Like that's just kind of how it goes. But part of that is maybe because there aren't many deer that just simply die of old age. Like they get hunted, or they
smoked by a car,
smoked by a car, coyote hunters, and they don't live to be 90. Orcas don't have any predators, so like they're in the ocean, like they are the apex predator.
They got a predator.
Who? Fucking Free Willy people, blackfish.
Fucking SeaWorld.
Yeah. Well, that's like the other thing. Like the more you learn about them, you're like, it is fucking evil to lock these things up. Mm-hmm. It's not like it's a fucking goldfish. Like this is.
But it's also them being so smart and capable is what makes them great entertainers.
Yes, But like,
not saying I'm arguing.
Extrapolate that argument out.
No. I'm not defending them.
Yeah.
I'm like,
well, it's what makes
if I'm in an
yeah.
evil person's brain or whatever, you know what I mean?
Or just
Whatever
like a person. Let's not say they're evil unless they've thought it through and they know and they're consciously making that decision. Because I think it's natural for us to be like, well, we got dominion over everything. It says it in the goddamn Bible.
Yeah.
You know. So maybe I shouldn't say goddamn Bible, but you know, but it does, like, you know, like humans are at the top. But so if you just like, yeah, like that's another thing for us to, you know, it's here for us. So, but if you think about it and like how, and you learn about it, and then you still like, yeah, SeaWorld's great, fucking Blackfish, rock on. Mm-hmm. That's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, because they are fucking sick though. Have you ever
they
been
are.
to SeaWorld?
Yeah.
When as a kid? When as a kid?
Yeah, I want to. I feel like I went to a place in California that had one.
Really?
Maybe like San Diego or something.
That's the one I went to.
Is there one in San Diego?
San Diego,
okay.
yeah. I mean, it was so cool.
They're incredible.
Yeah, like the splash zone. Like it's unlike, like I've been to dolphin shows at the Shed Aquarium in Chicago, and
the belugas.
It's just like it's a totally different beast.
Those kind of bum me out though too. No.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying one or the other, but I'm just saying as like a pure entertainment as a kid, it's really sick.
So I get kind of like, because I get because I'm like the link, like zoos kind of bum me out too. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, if you want, someone made this argument to me a long time ago where it's like, if you want to like teach people and inspire people to care about animals, and you have to give them an opportunity to see these like unbelievable things like up close. And
it's actually kind of a good point.
I think it is. Like, I still think I lean towards like, let's get rid of those things.
Yeah.
But from like an inspiration, an education standpoint, like there are some good arguments to be made for zoos. But I think I draw the line at orcas and dolphins and things like that, just because their brains are like, they're so similar to us in behavior that it's like, you look at it, it's almost like, this is almost like slavery in a way, because they are conscious. Like they're like like they have, like I said, they have that culture and the learned behaviors. They have this thing where they fucking love, like I said, they're a matriarchy, right? The males specifically love their mom. Like they love their mom so much that they never leave. So like what happens is like the son of a mother, like they become like their pod, and they like attract other females, and they bring females in, and then their kids go off and form their own pods. But like the sons always kind of stay with the mother, and the mother invests like heavily emotionally in them. That they say that when the mother dies eventually, which they do kind of die usually, I think of old age, they get up there, and if the male is 30 or over, their likelihood of dying in the next year, basically, when they say like grief is like a huge contributing factor, goes up 8 times.
Wow.
Okay, because they're so like emotionally connected to their mother.
No
so it's
shit.
like they're adult males, but they're just like, that's my mom, and they get all like fucked up to the point where it like basically kills them. And they have these enormous brains. They have you can make an argument it's the second largest by weight. It weighs 15 pounds. It's a big fucking brain. But you could argue that it's the biggest by like total size, or like, you ever heard like someone like the insult, like you're a smooth brain?
Yeah.
Okay. You're a smooth brain moron.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that's because like the amount of folds and wrinkles and things in your head is like, it's just surface area. So the more wrinkles that you have in your brain, the more surface area you have, and you can technically like process, you can store more data, like more memory data, and process things more quickly if you have more wrinkles. Orcas have even a more wrinkled brain than ours. Like by a pretty significant stretch.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so it's bigger and has more surface area. And they say that some of that might be because, they have different needs and they've evolved differently. Obviously, they're in the ocean, for fuck's sakes, but they have like that echolocation, and they move 3-dimensionally. So we are really kind of a 2-dimensional thing for the most part, unless you're like a pilot, but like we're walking on the ground. Like that's kind of where we move two-dimensionally. And they say because they have to like navigate such a, like their range is huge for the most part. There are pods that like will stay in some specific areas and hunt one specific thing. But again, they say that that's kind of like a learned behavior. It's like, hey, like our group's staying here. Right? So then it's like another group where it's like, this is what we do. We travel all over the place. And there's no like, they all look so similar that they're like, if they didn't have all the same markings, you would classify them as a different species because their behaviors are so different from pod to pod. But it is, again, it's like it's just a cultural thing, which is just, it's crazy to be like that animal has a fucking, that group is different than that group. And even though they look exactly alike and they're an animal. So, and there's just like all these little facts about their brain too, where, so like anything else, like any other mammal, they have to sleep, right? But it's hard for them to sleep because they have to come up to breathe, and they're in the ocean, so they're like constantly moving. So what they're able to do somehow is turn off half their brain at a time. So they'll sleep, like literally sleep with one eye open, and they'll be able to shut off half their brain, rest half their brain while they're like kind of quasi in and out, and then they'll switch and they'll rest the other half of their brain, because every living thing with a brain has to be able to sleep. Otherwise, like you shut down, like you'll die. And so whales, like anything else, especially other mammals, have a sleep function, but they just do it like left brain, right brain. And it's like they're able to like shut off. I'm shutting off the left brain. I'm shutting off the right brain. And then
that's pretty fucking crazy.
Okay. Beyond that, our heart just pumps, right? And it's like we don't think about it. Same with breathing. They supposedly have the ability to dictate like blood flow to specific organs. So when they're doing like these deep sea dives, if they're hunting for squid or octopus or something that's like down deep and it gets much colder, and they have to be down there for a long period of time where they're not going to have oxygen, they'll divert blood flow from certain organs, specifically just to keep their brain and heart going. So they're able to be like, let's just worry about, I'm making this part up, but it's like, we don't need the liver right now. We need everything like focused on the brain. Yeah. So we're going to take all the blood and the oxygen that we have stored up, because we're not coming up for a while. We're going to give that to the, so they're able to like control like their, I don't know if that's technically the nervous system or not, but they're able to like, we have this functionality of our brain that we never can tap into, or really like it's even like just to control your breathing, right? If you have to meditate on it, think on your breathing, like we don't have to think about it. We can, but it's like they can be like, we're going to take our blood flow and put it in the brain. That to me is like, that's fucking wild too, that they have the ability, the consciousness to be able to do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to even compute how they are able to do that.
Exactly. So. And like they know when to do it. And, I'm sure that that's probably a taught thing too. There's probably some kind of like orca meditation class for the young pups. They're like, hey, like this is how you get extra blood to your brain when we're doing a deep sea dive. That's pretty fucking crazy. Yeah. And, and it's like, what was the other thing? I have a bunch of little notes written down here. And they're freak athletes. They can swim 30 miles an hour. 30 miles an hour. And then a lot of them do like literally will go from Alaska down to Antarctica. Like their range is just fucking insane. And they travel for long periods of time. And they say that that's part of why they have like this really close, this need for community, because they're on these long trips and like you can't do a trip like that alone. And they do, dolphins themselves are like, these are all dolphins, but and I've seen this on video. I remember watching this on maybe 5th or 6th grade. Like dolphins have sex for pleasure, and humans are the only other ones that do that. Dolphins have fucking hogs, like. Yeah,
aren't they like pretty rapey too?
Oh, I don't know about that.
I think I've read that. Read that fact. I don't mean to,
It's tough.
I don't allege that. Sorry, dolphins. I don't want to.
Yeah. Slander them.
I don't
but it might be true.
You. Yeah, I don't want
that.
Yeah,
it's a big slander. If it's not true, you should have to apologize.
It's a big sorry to the dolphins.
But that is, so another thing about their brain though, about like the, how big it is, they also have, they say it's the most elaborate insular cortex in the world. And the insular cortex is the thing that regulates and gives you the ability to have, these various types of emotions. So like that regulates compassion, empathy, perception, your motor control. So that's what I mean. Like they are these great athletes and these great hunters, and they're able to move and dart, and they're like in great control of their bodies, even though they're so fucking big. And then they actually have like, there's very few animals that they say have self-awareness. Like same thing with chimps. Like if you put lipstick on a chimp and put that chimp in the mirror, they'll like know it's themselves and like wipe it off. They say that orcas really do have a strong sense of identity in a way that like you put a deer in front of a mirror, they thinks it's another deer, you know? And that's the same case with like a lot of animals, or birds will, you know, like jockey themselves. George, my fucking dog, the idiot, he used to bark at his own shadow. Like when he was a puppy, the light would come in and he would just get in a shouting match with his own shadow in the kitchen, be like, you are so fucking stupid. But like, so different animals, they just don't have the ability to have the idea of the self. And orcas, they say, like really actually do. Like they are like self-aware as individuals, which is a wild thing.
You think Dave's ever argued with her shadow?
I think he's argued 6 inches from the mirror, probably. You're like, why the fuck did you do that? Well, which, who amongst us hasn't done that? Yeah. But yeah, he's probably,
hey, quit following me.
Yeah. So it is like, there are all these wild, like they're so incredible that they have this brain function and this sense of like community and culture. That's what I mean. Like when you have like that understanding, you go back and you think of SeaWorld, or you watch, Blackfish, you're like, man, like this is horrible, because it'd be like, essentially it's like like they separate you from your family, they lock you up, and they throw you in a tub when you're used to having the whole ocean, and you got like an Olympic-sized swimming pool to scurry around in.
What's crazy is, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't even think Blackfish harped on that a ton.
How smart they are?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's mostly about how fucking gigantic they are.
Yeah.
Being enclosed into smaller tanks.
You know, and I remember, I haven't seen it in a long time.
And being separated from family.
I think the first time I saw it was 2019, or the only time I saw it. So I think it came out like a long time before that, like 12 or something like that. But the thing I remember from that was how they would get so, like an indication that they're unhealthy, which is like the Free Willy orca too, where they had like their dorsal fin was like bent over and curved. And I remember thinking like, oh, like that's a cool little feature. Like, you know, like all their dorsal fins are a little different. Like, no, actually it's just like, it's so like, it's like sick. And it's like atrophy almost, where it's just like
malnourished.
Yeah. And they just dips over because they don't really need it, because they're not swimming, you know, the way that they should be. And this is where like my brain gets like a little bit weird. Okay. So, you know that like they say humans like started, or some kind of other looking thing, like we started in the water and like plopped up on land.
Yeah, there was some type of evolution.
Yeah. And eventually we became like a little shrew when the dinosaurs were around, and we blossomed into people like you and me sitting here today after 60 million years or whatever. It makes you wonder, like they might be just as smart as us, orcas. Like,
yeah,
you know, but they never had fire, okay, and they never had thumbs, so they didn't like create tools because they didn't need them or have the ability to. But in terms of like brain function, with all the other things that they learn and teach, and it seems like it's just like a, you know, like we did the episode last week about like the battles that changed the course of history. So like, this is really like, you know, it could be just like an evolutionary snap that changed, you know, the path for these two things. But it's like, these are the animals that developed super advanced brains, but because we were on land and we're able to like use fire and not, because the orcas also spend, and this is not dissimilar from chimps and other primates, they spend the vast majority of their time, and even early humans, the vast majority of their time looking and eating food. So it's like if you're in survival mode, you're not doing philosophy or mathematics or any of this shit. You're just trying to like, I need to get my next meal.
Yeah.
But as soon as you're able to have like agriculture and stable food sources in like a city and a culture or a society, well, then you're able to like sit around and like your labor your need for hunting and stuff that takes up all your time and energy goes down. So you're able to focus your brain power on other things. And orcas, just because of the nature of their existence, not necessarily because of like their brain structure or function, or it's just like you wonder like how high would be up if that level of a brain had a different evolutionary path, because it's a bigger brain than ours. It has more of the folds than ours. And it's like, who knows what those things could do if they, I don't know, just were different, I guess.
Yeah.
Like if their ancestors plopped up onto the shores one day with a mudfish instead of ours, or however it worked. I don't know. I'm kind of talking out of turn now, but like I don't know. It's crazy. It is kind of crazy to me. It just makes me think we should just leave those guys alone forever.
Yeah. I mean, I just wish we could do like brain transplants.
How so? Let's just take one of their brains and put it into a human body?
Yeah, it'd be fucking fascinating.
So blackfish wasn't enough. You want to just suck their brain out.
Well, that's not what I said.
Yeah. Maybe we should. Maybe they'll know how to like help us against the robots. Have you ever seen that Simpsons episode? Have you seen that?
No.
It's like one of the, I think it's a Treehouse of Horror one, but they have this episode where it's like the dolphins just like come ashore one day, like, we're enough of the ocean. Like we're taking shit over, and they're just like hop along and squeak along on land. And then they like get up and like just give like a big speech. It was like an alien, it's like an alien invasion, but of dolphins.
That's funny.
And it's like, maybe, who knows? Like because they do like these, not that they would do that, but the fact that they do like language, culture, shared knowledge, unique hunting skills, and that they're all so different but all the same it is wild to me. And one thing that I left out, I think they're fucking sweet looking. They're like that little white with the black
white patch. It's like your whole like childhood. You're like, oh, that's their eye. It's like no, they got a little eye.
Yeah,
well, probably very large, but just compared to the rest of
their body. That's the other thing too. Like they have tremendous eyesight and unbelievable hearing. They have no sense of smell. They have no sense of smell at all.
No shit.
Yeah, so they have like echolocation, but this might be like a false fact too that I'm remembering from childhood, but they say like a shark can smell a drop of blood from like miles away in the ocean. An orca would never know. Like
that's crazy.
They don't smell at all. They don't have like the receptors for it. But they do have great eyesight, and they have like better hearing than your dog, or they say even better hearing than a bat, which is kind of like the bats are supposedly have like the best hearing of any mammal. Bats are mammals. You know that? You knew that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was told it at one point in my life. I'm not saying I remembered it. But
haven't thought about it since like third grade, probably.
Correct. Yeah.
Unless
my nephew, he's like so knowledge-able about animals.
Dude, I don't know how they do that.
It's that Wildcrat show. You ever seen that?
No,
it's on
I don't
PBS.
Know. How old are your nephews?
1 through 7. I got 6.
Yeah. Oh, so shit.
Yeah, it's just a fucking.
It's a lot.
It's a wagon of a crew. But the one kid loved. He's like, I mean, he could spit out these Komodo dragon facts and like all this other shit. I'm like, dude, you know way more than I did.
Yeah. Or I wonder if you knew it too. And you just like started having you discovered girls in sports, and you're just like, fuck all this shit.
Yeah, maybe. But he was, I don't know, like he knows all the birds and all that shit.
Well, I know like my nephew's, this is even like a couple years ago. So my nephew was 5, and he had this book of like dinosaurs and like the actual dinosaurs. And I like couldn't read them, like the names, like this pterodactylus, like whatever the fuck it was. And he'd be like, that's not what that is. That's I'm like, shit, dude, like you're 5 years old. Like you're making me feel like a fucking idiot right now.
They really do.
Yeah. So we should just get kids on studying more shit. Bring back child labor and bring back SeaWorld.
Yes. Yeah.
That's also, the takeaway from today.
What was Billy's blog? So that one of them tried to eat a human for the first time?
There was like this fishing boat. It's a pretty wild video. And they were like attacking this fishing boat out in the open ocean. I think it was a fishing boat, but it was like a small, like kind of like a raft type of boat.
No shit.
Yeah.
I've always had my radar up about this, I'll be honest, because I know that was always the fun fact. There is no ever recording in history that a killer whale has killed a human. I call bullshit. I'm sorry.
In the wild.
In the wild, yes, in the wild, because obviously
they're probably so smart that they know how to destroy the evidence.
Maybe, yeah, but it's just like, dude, like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, and recorded too, because you would think like, you have especially like the first people ever in Alaska, and they're out like they're hunting for the same seals, and these orcas were like, what's this little fucking canoe for this ancient person?
Shit,
yeah, and it's a 48-second long video, but yeah, they're like fucking smashing the shit out of this little boat. This has to be like the scariest thing in the world.
Oh my god,
the boat that they're in this video is like like a what do they call that, a skiff?
Yeah,
so.
Maybe they just don't want them there because they'd be able to fuck this boat up.
Oh,
easily.
yeah. Probably.
I don't care if what kind of motor you got on that thing.
They swim 30 miles an hour, so you better start hauling ass. Yeah. This is icy water somewhere. I don't think it says in this video where it's from. But that was kind of Billy's blog that he was calling bullshit on this too.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Yeah. I really think so.
Yeah.
All right then. That's talking orcas.
All right.
R.I.P. Tillicum.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Seriously, R.I.P. Tillicum. That's sad.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
You should watch Chimp Empire though.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll try to check it out. How many episodes?
4. So it's 4 episodes.
Can they give me just 1, 2?
Dude, no, you need all 4 because it's like tells this whole story.
No, but they're doing that. These streaming services keep doing that where they stretch it into like 4 to 6 episodes.
Dude,
and it could be like 2.
They could have made it 12.
All right.
Like it was, they tell the stories and like you start to care about like these individual chimps. Like one chimp is like this guy with no friends. You're like, man, that fucking sucks. Then there's this guy, Jackson, who's like the alpha of like the big group. He is such a fucking dickhead. Like I wanted him to.
Yeah, you're telling me about Jackson.
Yeah, I wanted Jackson to die the entire fucking time. And so you start rooting for like the Western and Go-Go's, or at least I did. And it's like it's a great like compelling story of like these rival chimps. Yeah, you should watch it. You'd love it.
All right. I'll give it a shot. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Back tomorrow with the free swim. We'll see you then.